Here we are. We are live, you and I.
Hello.
Welcome. Hi, Peter. I'm super excited to have you with us today. And for everyone else, happy Friday. Happy every day. Welcome back, some of you. I know some of you are actually attending this live every single Friday. So I love your commitment and thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you always. So we just wanted to say hi to everyone. Please let us know that you're joining us live. Leave it a comment in the comment section or send us an emoji that Peter and I can see that you are joining us live on LinkedIn. That would be amazing. And whoever is new, welcome. The idea behind these Spotlight Fridays is to put someone in the spotlight and bring a bit of personality of that person in so that it's dynamic. Hence, we are live streaming right now. And also, the objective behind it is to show what problems you can help solving to brands and businesses. So this is the perfect scenario for us right now, Peter, because you are helping to solve many, many problems for e-commerce brands. So I'm sure you will tell us all about it. And I've been following you on LinkedIn, and I'm a big fan of what you do and how you do it and the purpose behind it. So absolutely, let's kick it off. I can't see any comments, so I'm just going to make an assumption. Oh, Sabina's joining us, so that's great. So we're definitely live. Amazing.
Good.
Thank you. Let's go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for having me here, Anna. Would you like me to start telling you a little bit about what we're doing?
Please.
Okay.
Let's kick it off.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, really, if we just go back to retail, I think that's a good place to start. So, TryMirror has wanted to create the changing room experience, but for the online shopper. When people go into a store, like a bricks and mortar store, when they're buying clothes or eyewear or swimwear, they'll always go to the changing room, try it on to make sure it fits and looks good. And it's a really crucial part of the buying journey, as I'm sure you would agree. But online's always kind of missed out that step. It's always been like buy now, try it on later. And that's kind of the fact that in a store you might have kind of 25% conversion rate in terms of foot traffic to conversions, whereas online,
You're lucky.
Yeah, and then online 3% if you're doing pretty good. And so that a big reason people drop off, especially if they're a first-time customer or even if they're a returning customer, is unsure of the fit, unsure of the size, unsure how it's going to look, unsure of the quality. And so we kind of quite simply made, well, it's not very simple, but in an essence it is that we just created a home try-on checkout solution that plugs into Shopify apparel, fashion, and beauty brands.
Brilliant. Sounds very simplistic, but I also know, because I followed your stats, and I also know that you reduce that friction with retailers being on that discount wheel constantly, because you create that confidence in people in their purchasing behavior because they know exactly what to expect. And this is gold.
Yeah, exactly. I think the discounting trap can be really difficult to dig yourself out of. I think there's obviously a really good time for discounting, and there's a strategy that should be done with a lot of thought behind it, that kind of gets the balance of giving deals, and I think deals is a better word than discounts, to your customers, but also not devaluing the brand. And what we're seeing from the data standpoint with TryMirror is that customers are encouraged to try more. So they're encouraged to add more items to the cart, let's say 4 items. But on the checkout, on the try order, they're not actually making that purchase decision. Although we authorize the full funds, the amount they're paying on that checkout is $0. Because it's $0, the customer's not going, oh, I need my 15% off or 20% discount or whatever it is. So they're not using a discount. They're just getting the product into their hands. And then once they receive the items, they have 3 days to try it on. And what we're seeing is that they're not using the discounts, even once they've tried them on, even though they've got the ability later on to add a discount if they want. We're seeing a huge reduction in discounts being applied, because at that point, the customer's got the products, got the clothes, they're trying it on. They now have that emotional connection to it. If it's good quality product, it's always going to be better than looking at a product image. If they're confident with how it looks, they like the size, they like the quality, then they're just going to complete their purchase. And so, yes, solving that key problem for a customer in terms of reducing the uncertainty, giving them more confidence, but then also from the unit economic standpoint for the brand, increasing contribution margin by not, reducing the need for them to give incentives and discounts.
Oh, you just tick so many boxes. Profitability of the channel, the conversion, the reducing discounting. And for me, what jumped out straight away is that emotional connection with the product. This is incredible because how else you're supposed to achieve it?
Yeah.
This is brilliant. Can you throw more stats at us?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things we never thought would, basically, our vision has always been to create the most impactful and engaging online shopping experience, which is for the customer. That also drives e-commerce growth, So if we thought like, we'll start with the customer, create the best experience, not only from a user interface, but then also how it makes them feel and the problem it solves. And if we can do that well, it will drive strong commercial outcomes for e-com businesses. We didn't realize when we created this that the increase in average order value would be so high. And what's happened is that when customers have less friction to check out, they are trying more and then they're keeping more. And I think anyone who orders stuff will often say, oh yeah, I sometimes don't return, sometimes people go, yeah, I return it all. But what we're seeing is that actually people are keeping more items. So for the stat, the median increase in average order value. So we've got close to 200 brands roughly using our app at the moment, mainly across Australia and now the US. And the aggregated increase of a completed try with mirror order versus a regular buy now order is 38%. And we obviously deal with brands that might have an AOV of like $200 to $300. So you're looking at anywhere between a $40 to $100 uplift in new revenue per order after returns. So that's a stat we're really proud of.
Oh, you should be. This is incredible. What is your adoption rate is like? Because when I listen to it, and obviously quite familiar with TryMirror because we've had numerous conversations in the past, and I'm the biggest fan. I would always, my immediate thought is everyone will jump on it.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
So, like, there's I would say we have some brands who will roll it out. So first of all, in terms of how brands can roll it out, there's lots of settings and ways that they can do this. You imagine you've got like a multinational brand and they've got multiple stores. They might go, okay, I'm just going to roll this out on Oz only, or at least to their domestic-based customers. And then they might do it on, most brands will put it on all products, but they might, they might just go live and they might have anywhere between kind of 5 to 8, maybe sometimes 9% of their online orders are try with mirror orders. But then you have brands that really talk about it top of funnel. So you have brands that are going, right, we've got this epic, customer experience and conversion tool now, integrated into our operating model. Let's talk about it to customers so they know it's there before they get down to the PDP. And those brands are seeing anywhere between 18, 25, 30% uplift in new conversions across repeat, but also first-time customers. So that's the kind of the adoption rate.
Wow, this is also another big stat. We have not discussed this before, that we're going to bring it up on the call, but thank you for letting us know. This is huge. And what are the ways to enhance the online shopping experience and drive growth, in your opinion?
As in around try with mirror?
Yes, always around TryMirror.
Yeah. So look, I think it's really just about consistent messaging. So we're not wanting to interfere with your kind of brand, your the way you kind of go to market and the way you drop collections and your design. We want to kind of really be just an extension of your checkout and of your brand. But the brands that are doing really well are the ones that, in terms of using TryMirror, in terms of activating customers and getting strong results, are the ones that just consistently talk about it. So in terms of, their cart abandonment emails, they mention, they say, hey, have you used our home try-on service, or the try at home service, or try before you buy service, and then they'll have their EDMs going out, and it might be about a new collection drop, and it will just have something saying, remember, you can try before you buy. And then again, top of funnel across kind of Meta, their ads, and they'll have a landing page as well linked, just so that when traffic and customers, know that it's there, so they've got that confidence coming to the store. They're like, great, I can just browse through collections or products, and knowing that when I feel like I like something, I can add a few items to the cart, check out with no upfront payment, receive those items, and then shop with confidence and make the purchase decision once I've got those items home. And part of why this is elevating that customer experience is because if someone was just to order 5 items, let's say you're going to the Iconic and you're ordering 5 items, knowing that you might return, because they've got a good returns policy, returning 4 of those items, you're paying all of that money up front. So it's at the, it's at the brand's convenience to return that money to you. Whereas with a try order, you're in control as a customer. The funds are authorized, so it's secure for the brand. Well, when you receive those items, let's say you've ordered 2 pairs of shoes and a 10 and 11, you've tried them on, then you select which one you want to keep. That's when the payment happens, and that's when the rest of the authorization is released. So you're completely in control. It's not like you have to request a return or anything.
Incredible. And the customer has 3 days, yes?
Yeah, look, I mean, again, the brand can set it to what they want. The brand can, in the settings, they can say, look, you can try up to 6 items or try up to 5 items. And again, with the trial, I think all brands have either 3 or 4 days. I think this is the other thing, like brands will give customers 30 or 40-day returns windows thinking this is going to help them convert. We've done a survey across hundreds of brands and thousands of customers using TryMirror, and asked them, was 3 days long enough? And they've all said yes. And so we're like, they don't need 30 days. They just want to be able to, try clothes on and make sure they really fit. And it's better from a, you think about if there are returning items, and there's always going to be returning items. It's just part of e-commerce. You'd much rather those come back in a week as opposed to 6 weeks, because then you can issue back into stock and be resellable quantities in a fifth of the time.
Yes, well, you don't want to know that time window over the Iconic. It really hits your P&L so hard after 45 days.
Of course.
It's like, what happened to our revenue? It just dropped. Because we process all the returns. That's why in bulk.
Yeah.
But I think, isn't it the best way to run the business when you actually ask customers what it is that they want and not what we think they want? Just ask them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think about this a lot, and everything that we do, I think it's so important to just look at the data, but not just kind of what the numbers tell you, but actually just ask customers. And you always get this little brilliant pockets of gold when you actually speak to them and they tell you how it went or what they would like next and so on.
I want to circle back on what you mentioned earlier about brands educating their customers on what it is, because when we introduce new features, we think that everyone can see it and everyone knows it. No one knows it. We need to we need to take customers on the journey and showcase it to them and spotlight it for them, whatever it is that make their shopping experience with us more pleasant and seamless as well. So I agree with you about that educational part. You do need to shout out about it and you do need to mention it, because everyone just skims things. Like, no one pays attention to anything. Everyone's attention span is like 2 seconds. So, and people forget.
Yeah.
There is the study, I'm going to put it on LinkedIn next week, that was done that 80% of people will forget what you tell them within 48 hours.
Yeah. Not surprising.
Not at all. Therefore, repetition is key. Consistency is key. Let the customers decide if it's annoying or not. They will tell you anyway. But yes, definitely consistency, repetition, education are very, very important.
And it doesn't have to be done in a kind of brash or in your face way. It can be done in a subtle way, but it's consistently, it's kind of like, you know, with marketing, you see something 7 times or whatever, but it's making sure across the funnel.
Yes, it's 7 to 9 times, by the way.
Yeah, it's what, sorry?
Yeah, it's 7 to 9 times
Yeah.
average.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, about having that those consistent messaging, it's kind of like giving the customer those consistently saying, it's a bit like, imagine having a bricks and mortar store and having a fitting room that no one could find. And people would be like, they'd be picking up clothes, looking around, and then they just get bored and they'd be like, stuff this, put the clothes back and walk out. You know?
I love this analogy. Definitely. I'll actually going to summarize our discussion and highlight a few points because there are so many nuggets of wisdom in there that I'm very appreciative of you. And I'm so grateful
Very
that
much
you
likewise.
created this app. And I hope that people who are sitting on the fence or the brands that were sitting on the fence will reach out to you and wanting to have a demo or have a look at the other retailers that are already using your app, how successful they are. So it's been a great discussion, Peter. I'm so grateful to have you on this chat and showcase the amazing work that you're doing. Please follow Peter on LinkedIn because he does share a lot of case studies and they're very educational and very informative as well. So I love reading your posts.
Thanks.
And thank you so much. And thanks everyone for joining us. I promise I'm going to wrap it up under 20 minutes. And here it is. If you want to hear more, please reach out to Peter directly. And happy Friday and have an amazing weekend. And we'll see you next Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.